5 or 6 years ago, I was ready to pull the plug on all of this. The ecosystem, the brand known as Dr. Shantae. I was ready to walk away from all of it because for years, I thought that in order to be successful, that life will give you whatever you want as long as you are willing to pay the price. And so I adopted this ideology of team no sleep. You can sleep while you're dead, hustle, grind. If you're not making X amount of dollars, you just have an expensive hobby. And that's what made me want to quit because I convinced myself that I did not have what it takes, that the grind, the hustle, the lack of sleep, it was a price that I just could not afford to pay. Because the deeper that I got into hustle culture, the less I recognized myself. And I kid you not, like as I was shuttering the whole operation, pulling my podcast episodes down, like just closing up all of my digital assets, closing the windows on the shop that I had been building for years, there was this voice. And I mean, it was loud. It's probably the loudest my inner voice has been that said, don't do that. Don't do that. Stop. You will regret it. You will regret it. It will be one of the single biggest regrets of your life. Do not walk away from this. The voice inside my head said, don't walk away from what you've built. Walk away from the methodology that you've used to build it. Walk away from this idea that you have to hustle, grind, and sacrifice yourself at the altar in order to succeed in what you want to do. And my decision to stop hustling was the key that unlocked every single door that has led me to my current trajectory of success. And so if you are trying to aim higher, build your dreams, climb up the next rung of success, how you do it matters just as much as what you're doing. And in this video, I'm going to explain exactly what I mean by that. Keep watching. Hi, I'm Dr. Shantae, and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are new to this channel, what I do over here is reframe cultural narratives from a trauma-informed and sociological perspective. So let's talk about hustle culture, okay? Let's talk about the hustle and the grind, because when I started this whole process circa 2013, 2014, so that was what? Maybe 12, 13 years ago. The mid-2010s was marked by this deluge of coaching culture. Like coaching culture was like at the pinnacle. And so there were all these heavy hitters. Marie Forleo, John Lee Dumas was Entrepreneur on Fire. It was Tony Robbins. It was Lisa Nichols. It was Amy Porterfield. Do you recognize some of these names? And I'm not dragging them, but the messages coming out of these camps was that you have to hustle. Like John Lee Dumas, like famously released podcast episodes every single solitary day. And he would batch like these 8-9 episodes in a single day so that he could crank them out on this daily basis. And so the cadence of that, and then the psychological messaging that came from a lot of these stages, not necessarily these people, but these people always brought coaches, experts, people who had succeeded in their system. And it was all about sales funnels. And it was all about being an infopreneur and how you had to have an opt-in and then a lead-in and then a back-end and then a signature program. And this is how people were making millions of dollars. And that if you wanted in, you had to pay a lot of money to buy into their system and buy their signature program. And it would be this long list of all the bundles that you were getting of value that they put like arbitrary numbers on, but you could get it for the bargain price of $3,000, broken up into 5 or 6 easy payments. And some of the messages coming off of that stage was that if you're not succeeding, you're not committed enough. If you're not succeeding, it's because you're lazy. If you're not making money, that's your fault. And so there was a lot of weaponizing of shame to sell products. There was a lot of weaponizing of guilt. There was a lot of psychological manipulation. It was a lot of weaponizing of insecurity and inadequacy, because what do they tell you in these coaching programs? Find the pain point and exploit it. Find the pain point and then show up as the solution to their pain, show up as the solution to their problem, right? So that was the mentality, and that was the mindset, and that was the ideology, and that was the pervasive doctrine coming out of a lot of these programs. And I didn't know any better. I was an educator. So I was like, okay, I don't know about coaching. I don't know about business. I don't know about sales. I don't know about systems. And so I was eating it up. And so I approached my entire platform from this hustle and grind, from this unrealistic cadence of produce, 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 and sale, 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 and create, 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 pain points and things like that. And it got to a point where I was like, girl, who are you? Like, is this what you want to do for money? Like, because the struggle was I legitimately believed that I had a calling on my life, that I had this assignment to help people in the way that I'm helping them right now. But like I said, how you do it is just as important as what you're doing. And that method, that approach, that writing the perfect sales copy that would tug at people's heartstrings and press on their pain points. I'm not going to say that it's not effective. I mean, the entirety of the beauty industry is built on the premise that if a woman has a wrinkle, if she has cellulite, if she gains 5 pounds, if she shows any of the natural signs of healthy aging, then something is wrong with her. Okay. And a lot of us have bought into that. That's why a lot of us don't even like ourselves. We don't like our bodies and we demure compliments. If somebody says we look nice, we're like, oh no, we don't even know how to take it because we are so dialed into the pipeline of messaging that exploits insecurity. And so the entire coaching industry was built on this model of making you feel inadequate so that they could show up as the solution to your problem. And I was like, no, no, that's just not who I am. And if this is what I have to do in order to answer the call that's on my life, then I'm going to have to hang up the phone because this is not it. And so as a result, I was like, I'm shutting this down. I'm burned out. I'm tired. This doesn't feel aligned with who I am and what I'm about. So I was literally pulling the plug. I was packing up the platform in boxes. And then the voice inside my spirit was like, hold up, Chuck. Because, and I think Oprah said this once, your life is always speaking to you. Your life is always speaking to you, but it's not just your life that is speaking to you. Your body is speaking to you. Your anxiety levels, your nervous system is speaking to you. And your mental bandwidth and capacity is also speaking to you. And so I had all the telltale signs of stress, burnout, emotional dysregulation, nervous system dysregulation. And I was like, yeah, I tried. I gave it the old college try, and this is just not it. If I have to hustle, if I have to grind, if I have to be team no sleep, then I'm going to be team pillow and sheets because I am not willing to sacrifice myself. I'm not willing to sacrifice my health to try to make money. All money is not good money. I wish more people knew that and understood that all money is not good money. And money has an energy, and the way that you acquire it, the mentality that you have about acquiring it and going to get it, that has energy, that has currency, and it affects your spirit. It affects your health. It affects the way that you show up in the world. And so I had started believing this story that in order to be successful, I had to sacrifice myself at the altar and that I had to exploit people's pain points. And I was like, do you believe that? Do you really believe that that is the way? Is that your voice? Or is that somebody else's voice? Is that the coaching voice? Are these the expert voices, right? A lot of people on that coaching stage were encouraging you to quit your job or to invest in some really expensive mail system so that they could build the funnel for you and send automatic spammy messages trying to get people trying to, what did they call it? It was almost like planting little seeds in order to get you to buy their program, like this breadcrumb. And then you had to write all of these emails in order to lead the people to the cash register, right? And I was like, is this how I want to live? Is this how I want to show up in the world? And so as I started to shut it down, my spirit was like, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. You still have an assignment. The assignment has not changed, but the way that you are approaching this assignment needs to change. This whole team no sleep, hustle and grind, the shame of if you're not making X amount of dollars, then it's just an expensive hobby. And I realized that what I was doing was chasing down leads, chasing hacks, chasing tips, chasing productivity, chasing systems, chasing. And I was like, no, if this is for me, if this is what I'm supposed to be doing, if I am in alignment with my assignment, then I shouldn't have to be chasing. I should be allowing. I should be attracting. I should be a magnet that pulls rather than a pursuer that chases. Because if something is for you, you shouldn't have to chase it, right? If something is assigned to you, it's already yours, right? So I decided not to pull the plug, but I decided to scale way back on the system. I canceled my subscription to the expensive mailer service and all the things. And I really took the time to think about, if I'm going to do this work, how do I do it in a way that feels like me? How do I do it in a way that feels authentic and natural and normal? What would it look like if I gave up the hustle mentality? What would it look like if I stopped grinding? What would that feel like if I showed up to serve people as myself without these gimmicks and tactics to try to manipulate them into some sort of system or program? And the minute I started to ask myself those questions, my entire platform blew up. Literally blew up. I went from slow, painful, incremental growth to explosive growth practically overnight. So let me tell you what I didn't do. I did not make some grand announcement, because you know how sometimes people do that. After years of this and years of that, I've decided, and even though I've loved, I didn't make any speeches. I just pivoted. So with my podcast, I was like, hey, I'm winding this up. Thank you for being here. Here's where I'm going next. If you would like to join me there, you are more than happy to join me. And if this is where we part ways, it's been a great ride. Thank you so much. And, because let's close the communication loop. But then I started to approach my content from what felt natural. So if I didn't feel like doing it, I didn't. If I had to force it into a schedule, I didn't do it. I did it when I had time to do it. I did it when I felt like doing it. I didn't have any fancy graphics or editors or polish and panache. I started doing exactly what you see me doing right now. I'm sitting in my home at my desk with my camera we're having a conversation. I started doing that. And then rather than checking the numbers, checking the metrics and seeing how many views or how many listens or how many downloads or how many shares or any of that jazz, I took the crockpot approach, set it and forget it. Okay, I said what I had to say, and whoever needs to hear it is going to hear it. And now I'm about to go and do laundry. Now I'm about to go and grade papers. Now I'm about to go and hang out with my friends. Now I'm about to go out and live my life, honey. I'm about to go out and live my life. And when I have something to say, if I'm out and about, I will record it, say it, post it, and walk away from it. And that was the approach. And that to me felt aligned. That to me felt natural. That to me felt like me. And I will never forget when it all turned around. So, oh my goodness, maybe 3-4 years ago, I had posted a video about trying to do everything by yourself. And I was sitting at my desk, just like I'm sitting right now, posted the video, walked away from it. And then one day I'm working out at the gym during strength training and my phone starts blowing up. Ping, 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 ping. And I'm like, am I being spammed? Like, what is going on? What's going on? And I wasn't being spammed. I was going viral. Next thing I know, People were sharing that video all over the place, far and wide, here and there. And there was nothing fancy about it. There was nothing polished about it. There was nothing sales funnily about it. It was just unvarnished truth. That's what it was. It was just me. It was just me and a message. And next thing I know, I went from, I don't know, like maybe 12 or 13,000 followers to like 80,000 followers in a week. It was insane. And I was like, whoa, what are we doing? Hold them up. So where did all these people come from? And the thing is, that could have been that was also a critical moment, because I think I've said many, many times on this channel, your girl is an introvert. And so high visibility creates anxiety for me, because I'm like, I don't know you. I don't know your intentions. I have studied the sociology of the internet and social media is not a safe place. It's not a nice place. And so to have all of a sudden all of this visibility, all of this scrutiny, that could have made me shut it down. Like, oh my, what are we doing? But then I had to remember something that I used to tell my clients all the time. Divorce yourself from the outcome. You have to make it not about you. When I show up here to my YouTube channel, this is not about me. This is about you. Hi. This is about you. You know why I'm sitting here in this chair? Because somebody on the other side of this screen needs to hear exactly what I have to say. And when I say it, I trust that whoever is supposed to see it will see it. Whoever is supposed to hear it will hear it. It's not about me. I am a vessel. I don't have any ego about this, okay? I have never been the get ready with me and blush type of girly. Like, that's just not my ministry. All of my gifts are in between my ears and not in my fingertips, which is why when I need my makeup done, I pay somebody to do that, okay? So that's what this is about. I was like, this is not about you. This is about the people who showed up to hear a message. This is the people that showed up needing to be served, needing to be helped. And once I took that approach, once I took the set it and forget it, trust the process and the universe or the Lord, or just not me, just do my part and the rest will take care of itself, that is when my platform grew and has continued to grow exponentially year over year ever since I made the decision to stop chasing, to stop hustling, to stop grinding, to stop allowing shame to be weaponized against me. When I stopped that whole rat race and just showed up as me with the gifts that I had, with the time that I had, in the way that I wanted to deliver it, rather than copying the template or process of some other creator, that's when everything turned around. So for anybody that feels called to show up for other people, that feels called to display their gifts and their talents, whatever they may be, people respond to authenticity, to humanity, to the person that you are, not the polish that you try to present. Perfection is not accessible. Perfection, in a lot of ways, just reinforces more of the you're not enoughness that we see in so many industries that try to weaponize that message to get us to buy things or to get us to be things that we aren't, to get us to change ourselves and become versions of ourselves that we don't recognize. American culture, capitalism, it might teach you how to make money, but it doesn't teach you how to like yourself. I think I mentioned in a previous video how I had recently watched the Manosphere documentary. And one of the questions that the documentarian asks is, if you don't believe in these messages, if you don't believe in the stuff that you're saying, why are you saying it? Why are you doing it? Like, if this isn't what you would do, if this isn't what you would want your family or your kids to be doing, then why are you pushing this on your audience? And the guy was like, hey, you could choose to watch it or you could not choose to watch it. It's not my decision what you choose to watch or what your kids choose to watch. I'm here putting it out here because it's making me money. I was like, and so capitalism will teach you those types of win at all cost types of ideologies. But for me, and I think for many of you, it's important that you don't lose hold of who you are, of what you want, of how you want to show up in the world, because you do have a choice. You do have a choice. I mean, let's be honest. Let's just be barefoot in the dirt honest. If you wanted to be rich and you had a different moral compass, aren't there other ways that you could be rich? Exactly. But because that's not how you want to show up in the world, because that's not aligned with who you really are and what you really want to do, then you decide that you are going to pursue a different path, that you are not willing to sacrifice yourself at the altar just to make a dollar. Because who you become in the pursuit of your dreams matters just as much as the dream itself. So I want to leave you with the manifesto. I'm going to put it on the screen, or you can grab a notebook, jot it down, put it on a poster, frame it, do what you want to do with it. But this is my manifesto. Here we go. Number 1, I refuse to sacrifice myself to be successful. Number 2, rest is not laziness. Number 3, my worth is not measured in metrics. Number 4, I want a life, not just a brand. Number 5, I will build success in a way that still allows me to recognize myself. I do not want to become successful at the cost of myself. The goal isn't just to get what you want. The goal is to still like who you are when you get there. I repeat, the goal isn't just to get what you want. The goal is to still like who you are when you get there. So, my darlings, if you are hustling, if you are grinding, if you are team no sleep, and that feels inauthentic and that feels disingenuous, if that feels like it's creating anxiety instead of ease, if it feels misaligned, I'm going to encourage you to interrogate and examine that whole process and see if that's really what you want to do to get what you want. I know a lot of people, they want to be influencers, they want to be content creators, they want to show up in these industries and be the best that they can be. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that. But how you get there matters. How you get there impacts how you feel about yourself. And no matter where you go, there you are. You have to like yourself at every stage of the game, because if you don't like yourself, then you start not to recognize yourself. And then if you don't recognize yourself, then you start getting lost in the sauce and twisted up and believing everything that everybody and chasing. And next thing you know, you are so far out of alignment that you don't even know how to get back to home base. So I hope that this was helpful to you. I hope it gives you something to think about. I am rooting for you. I am cheering for you. And I just want to give you a different perspective that what it takes to be successful is not hustle and grind. Now, it's work. Now, don't look. This is work. I'm not going to kid you about that. Okay. So whether it's a podcast, whether it's a blog, whether it's a YouTube channel or whatever, it's still a 3-part process. It's pre-production, it's production, and then it's post-production. Okay. So there's still a beginning, middle, and end to the work that is involved. At the same time, it is work that I choose to do in a way that makes me feel good about who I am, what I'm doing, and how I'm showing up for people in ways that help them rather than harm them. So I hope you found this helpful. Feel free to share your comments, questions, takeaways, and I will see you guys next time.